Okay, so here we are in percents and ratios. There's more than one way of doing these things, and we're going to kind of walk you through it. So what I did is I have a wooden dragon model, and decided to make a larger one. I had a friend of mine who wanted a big dragon. So what I did was I traced the metal and just to make the larger dragon, and the pattern was cut out with a plasma cutter, and then I welded it together. There's a photo of me playing around with it. And how big is this thing? Well, we have a thing called a ratio where we can set it up. So one piece of it, the one piece is 3.5 inches in length, and the middle piece is 8 inches in length. How large is the male dragon? So remember, the wooden dragon was 23 inches in length, and I always kind of wondered, sometimes they would find a small whale bone, and I go, well, how do they figure out how large that is? And figured out it's exactly this way. So let's set up the problem, see what we can do with it. So setting up the problem, remember to label the numbers and keep the same order. That's probably the most important thing. The original wooden piece is 3.5 inches. The original dragon was 23 inches. So that's the ratio between the original piece and the dragon, and we're going to create the ratio with the new metal size. So that's 8 inches, and the metal dragon size is X. So I'd like to cross multiply, but there's different ways of doing these kinds of problems. So if you cross multiply this, we've got 3.5 times X, there's the variable, equals 8 times 23. So 3.5x equals 184. Divided both sides by 3.5 to clear it out. And the answer is the metal dragon is 52.57 inches long. And you can say it's a little over 52.5 inches. In real life, nothing comes out even. So you gotta remember that one. So what's a ratio? A ratio of two quantities is a comparison, often expressed as a fraction. For an example, the ratio of the age of a 34-year-old parent to that of a 10-year-old child is 34 to 10. It can be written as 34/10. The ratio of 34 to 10 can be expressed in several ways. 34, some might call it 10, 34 divided by 10, 34 fraction over 10, and 3.4. So what is a proportion? They're equal. It states that two ratios are equal, calling the proportions. Okay, so 2/3 equals 6/9, and these are just fractions. And 5/7, if you multiply 5 times 5, is 25. Multiply 7 times 5 is 35. And instead of reducing fractions, they're increasing. And x/24 equals 2/3. 9/y equals 32/81. We'll cross multiply those things. So an example is, now the way that the book does it, it does it a little bit differently. It clears out that 63 by multiplying that to both sides. But I just like to cross multiply. I think it's a lot easier. But they feel it saves a step, but you have to know what you're multiplying. An example 2 is they multiply it by 10x. I don't really like it that way, but that's the way the book explains it. So try some of these on your own. I'll give you a little bit of time to write these out. And we'll save this presentation as a PDF also. So you can go ahead and do the problems. I'm just going to kind of click through this now, see how it looks. Okay, now these are samples of word problems. Property tax in the house is $8 per $1,000 assessed valuation. That's how they do property taxes, is they charge you a certain amount per either square footage or a certain amount per what they call assessed value. So what's the tax in the house which is assessed at $165,000? Well, remember, you have 8 to 1,000, okay? $8 per $1,000 assessed equals, and you're going to have the X, which is what we're looking for, over 165. Okay, now I would cross multiply this and divide it out, but the way they did it is they multiplied both sides by the 165, and they have X is $1,320. That would be your taxes for the year. And example 4, certain car can travel 180 miles on 8 gallons of gas. How far can this car travel in 19 gallons of gas? So you're going to set up the same way. 180 over 8 equals x over 19. So the 180 is the miles on the 8 gallons of gas. Instead of 18 gallons of gas, we have to figure out what 19 gallons of gas is. So it's going to be x over that. So 427.5 miles, it looks like, on 19 gallons of gas. And these are a couple problems to be set up. And we have these, and we have the word problem. So I'm going to save this as a PDF too. If you have any questions, please email me, and I will send out another video or answer your questions. Thank you so much.